So the Baltimore Ravens, the all-value team this year in fantasy football. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. If you're new, hit the subscribe, hit the notification, and the like button. The Baltimore Ravens, and particularly quarterback Lamar Jackson, are doing it to me again. Last season, I drafted Lamar Jackson on both of my fantasy football teams, and this season, I'm feeling the pull to do that again this season for a number of reasons, which I'm going to get into. Of course, Jackson, a lot of off-season drama with his contract, signed a new deal, and the Ravens really went out and surrounded him with some high-end talent, drafting Zay Flowers, small but very shifty, quick. Tyreek Hill comparisons are already being floated around in the first round of the NFL draft. They signed Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, they still have Mark Andrews, the second best tight end in football besides Travis Kelce, and a recovering Rashad Bateman, who went on the field, is a very, impactful, big play wideout that can certainly hold his own as a, top end wide receiver 3. If he just can finally stay healthy. So, but perhaps the most overlooked aspect is the fact that Todd Monken has come in now as a new offensive coordinator, and he's designing an offense that's going to emphasize throwing the football probably more than ever before in Lamar Jackson's tenure with the Ravens. Now, we all know Jackson is not the most textbook accurate passer, but he is a fantasy football bonanza when he's in an offense that caters to his skills. And that's what Monken is going to do. Greg Roman, it was like a high school offense last season. It was pathetic. It just, and there was no offensive help either. Once Bateman went down injured and Andrews was banged up and just did not play well. 2021, that was an outlier season by Mark Andrews, which I said was going to happen. I told you not to go aggressively at Andrews. You were buying extremely high last season, and we all saw what happened there. But I was a big Jackson fan, and I remain a Jackson fan. And the reason why I'm drawn to Jackson again, besides the reasons I just stated, is that, there's only about 7 or 8 dual threat fantasy football quarterbacks, and those are the guys that are going to win you your leagues, all right? We found out firmly last season, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, those kind of quarterbacks, Tom Brady, those kind of quarterbacks are not going to get it done for you anymore. You need to get those dual threat guys. We saw Justin Fields overnight just became a stud. Pat Mahomes has been doing it forever. Lamar Jackson, I know, he played great in September and then he tailed off again because of the offense. Jalen Hurts, just ridiculous MVP fantasy football numbers last season. Even Daniel Jones. Now Daniel Jones and Brian Dable's offense, he's got Darren Waller. Jones is a value target as well. But talking about value, I think Lamar Jackson is now that boring veteran. Everybody's now looking at Jalen Hurts. They're still looking at Pat Mahomes. Justin Fields is now all the rage. They're even going to be looking at the rookie quarterbacks coming in. Anthony Richardson, of course. Richardson is going to get a lot of play because people are going to assume he's going to be Justin Fields, and he very well could be. Of course, very inexperienced player. There's going to be a learning curve there as well. I think next season, as opposed to this upcoming season, would be more in line with when Richardson explodes. But Jackson is sort of falling through the cracks a little bit. He was injured last season. He's been injured the last 2 years, and that is a concern. But he's still young. He's still young enough, and has a tremendous bounce back potential. And he's got the weapons now. He's no longer having to force the football to, inconsistent, mediocre receivers, which is what he was dealing with pretty much the entirety of last season. So if you're looking for value and to get one of those, 7 or 8, which really that's all there is of these dual threat quarterbacks that you could use every week, Lamar Jackson's a guy. I'm really tempted to go back in on him. I'm looking at it already. Now, if I stick with my plan of taking Travis Kelce in the first round in fantasy football drafts this year, and I've been saying this, if you're wondering why, just go look at some old videos. I still think Kelce is the best first round pick to make this season. I would be very tempted to pair him up with Pat Mahomes in round 2. But failing that, I'm passing on Jalen Hurts. I'm going to be passing on Josh Allen. He's going to run less this season, so that's something to be concerned about. And I'm going to wait for value then. Lamar Jackson, don't laugh. Deshaun Watson, I think Deshaun Watson is going to be much better this season. He's still young as well. He was working off a lot of rust last season, so he's a good value. And then Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones running like crazy. He now has some weapons. I think he's going to be much better this season. So those are the guys I'm looking at. Lamar Jackson especially. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, guys. More videos on the way.